Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. So today's video is about my 4 electric guitars and why only these 4. If you followed my channel for any amount of time, music-wise especially, you'll know that over the last 4 years I have gone through a boatload of acoustics, electrics, amplifiers, pedals, pedal boards, pretty much you name it, right? Well, over the years of being a player, going way back, since then to now, I've gone through literally, just in guitars alone, hundreds of guitars, okay? And, you know, sometimes it's life happens, but for the majority of it, it's I'm just not happy. I've really got to have stuff I'm happy with, and it all boils down to happiness in the end. If you're not happy with your gear, you're not going to mess with it, you know, kind of thing, right? So, in the last 4 years, I've been through a lot more gear, and I've narrowed it down to, for now, these 4 electric guitars for being electrics. So from the far left, we have a 2019 50s classic vibe Telecaster, traditional style of course, with the single coil pickups and la la la, maple neck, maple fretboard, pine body, butterscotch blonde. I'm not going to get into all the details of these guitars because I haven't memorized that much. I don't want to memorize. Just look these up, okay? 2018 Les Paul Studio, okay, that I've customized with gold. Some guy thought it was a Chibson. I'm like, not in your lifetime. It's a real Gibby. Epiphone Les Paul Custom Pro. Epiphone Les Paul Special 2. Those are my 4 choices. Now, why these 4? Well, with the Telecaster, now I've been through Strats, okay? I've been through a number of different Telecasters too. I even, not that long ago, bought temporarily a white made in Mexican Tele that cost me about 850 bucks Canadian, and it was a lemon. So, after a lot of hellacious garbage and going through other Luthers to try and fix the problem, they can't do it. Fender sent us another white Telecaster. I wanted a white Tele, okay, mainly for playing in church, and I wanted white anyways. But the second one they sent was worse than the first one, so I gave up. I got other guitars and did this and that and other stupid stuff. Got rid of that stuff too, because I just can't get attached. And I finally decided to get another Tele. And I got a right-handed Tele, actually the same as this one. But I also did take that back. It did serve a purpose because I've decided finally that, you know, even though I can play both ways, I really don't care. I really need to concentrate on my strongest suits in my music, and that's what matters the most. So, guitar and piano, that's where I'm at. I got rid of my drum kit because I cannot do drums. I tried for 6 months. I gave it everything I had and then some, and forget it, I'm just not a drummer. So, it just shows me that I can't do everything that I want to do. Some things I just can't do. But the Telecaster, the sound of it, I've always liked these pickups and that are in this Tele. And I'm not a country player. I don't do chicken picking or any of that stuff. The types of music I play vary, yes. I have a large variety of genres that I like to play, and all of these guitars will more than handle any of it. And the Telecaster is just, it's a really nice guitar. And I do like the Butterscotch Blonde. I have had other Butterscotch Blonde Teles, mind you, they were much lower end, which was another thing too. I want higher end stuff, you know, and some people think that, wow, $500 is not high end. Well, it depends on who you're talking to, okay? You know, I'm sure that $269 for my Epiphone Les Paul is definitely not high end, okay? However, I'll still play that live on stage because it is a really nice playing guitar, okay? But the Tele, I like it. It's a really nice guitar, okay? And I can't get attached to Strats. I even tried a $2,000 plus Strat, and it's like, I can't get attached to the sound of a Strat. It's just, I can't, you know. And I'm a traditionalist. I don't go for this, you know, humbucker, super Strats or super Teles. I'm a traditionalist, okay? I like the traditional stuff, okay, when it comes to that. And besides, what would I do with a hot-rodded telly anyways? I have 3 other guitars with humbuckers, hello. And there's not a whole lot of difference anymore, and hasn't been for some decades now, from one set of pickups to another. It's a whole mind thing, and I'm going to do a video to explain that, because I also recently, I would say somewhat proved that. Between 2 of my Les Pauls, they sound so similar to each other, and yet there's such a big difference in cost between them and models of pickups that these pickups sound virtually identical. So anyways, it's a whole other video. We'll do that though. Gibson Les Paul. Always wanted a Gibson Les Paul. Now, I could have bought a traditional, I could have bought a standard. I had a standard once actually, years ago. And the thing was garbage, and it was an Epiphone. I spent $700 on that piece of junk, and it turned me right off of Epiphones. In fact, it turned me off the whole Les Paul thing, period, for quite a while. And then I got an Epiphone SG Pro 400, and that re-inspired me that, hey, maybe the Epiphones have changed over the years since that, lemon of a standard Les Paul. And so anyways, turns out Epiphones made some improvements. Okay, cool. I'm back into the game a bit. But I still wanted a Gibson. And Gibson guitars can be very costly. This one was actually about $1,800 before I spent $1,000 in gold upgrades. And I thought, well, that's a lot of money. I can't pay cash for it. Long McQuaid every year has this thing once a year called Gibson Month. And you can get on a 3-year contract with Gibson to make payments at like next to no interest. So I thought, okay, I'm in. So for, minuscule amount of money a month, I own a Gibson Les Paul. And then I was able to nickel and dime as I went for all my upgrades that I did to it, because I don't like chrome, especially on this guitar. Chrome does not look good. And I have a gold fetish problem too. I love gold. Probably part of my expensive taste. It's the way I was brought up. However, my telly is not going to be going with any gold hardware. Although it probably would look a lot nicer with gold, but no. But the Gibson, I had to spend the money on it, and I did. You will notice on my Gibson I do have a string butler on the headstock. I will swear by string butlers. They are a godsend. That is like the trick to getting so much better tuning stability, especially if you're having stability issues, which 99.9% of all Gibson Les Pauls do. Okay, so I can bend like 2 steps up with that string butler on there. My D and G strings still stay in tune, and I've done this on video to show you guys already on different videos, so you'll know. Definitely a worthwhile investment. So, anyways, the 57 Classic and Classic Plus are great. The guitar does have coil tapping or coil splitting, so you go from humbucker mode to single coil on either pickup. And it kind of does thin out the sound, yes, and it kind of gives an almost stratty, kind of almost telly tone. Although when you're in distortion, though it is somewhat noticeable, it's not overwhelmingly noticeable. On clean, though, it's always overwhelmingly noticeable. But great pickups. Expensive bloody pickups, too. I was hoping to get them with gold covers. I was going to order a set in, but Gibson does not do these particular pickups with the coil split, coil tap capability with gold covers. And to switch the covers, even Gibson said if you do it, you do have a chance of wrecking the pickups. It's very tedious to try and remove those covers and put on a new set. So they said, well, it's up to you. But they said, I wouldn't recommend doing it. And I thought, well, that kind of really sucks. So I was hoping with all the gold hardware I put on there that it would kind of really make them still look good in chrome, and it actually did. So I like the looks. I'm happy. I don't need gold covers on my pickups. Epiphone Les Paul Custom Pro. Much thicker headstock, no string butler because it will not support one. Now the Epiphone SG, on the other hand, the G400 Pro that I had, will support a string butler. I had one on there, didn't need it anyhow. You'll also notice that my Les Paul Special 2 also does not have a string butler. I can bend the crap out of the strings on both those guitars and they're fine. Whole other video, we will discuss that. It's going to be quite educational for some of you. However, great guitar. Came with the gold hardware with the exception of the knobs and the poker chip and the gold strap locks, of course. They were extras that I put on, but everything else came: gold pickups, bridge, tail stop, the tuners and their Grover tuners. Now I did change the knobs from kidney bean to, I call them kidney bean, they're kidney tuners, to the tulips. Same as my Les Paul. Like, I actually ordered those Grover tuners with the tulips style. Some people call them keystones. So they go under two different names. Anyways, I like the traditional type tuner key, but I don't like Wilkinson tuners. I don't like plastic keys either. I hate plastic. Even on my Les Paul, my Gibson, that gold pick guard, I ordered it custom and it was supposed to be metal according to the website. It came in as plastic and I was livid. For the money I spent on that, I was livid. And the manager kind of chuckled about it and I said, "You do not want to be chuckling in front of me right now. I am not frickin' happy." Okay? And I get, I mean, thing is, you spend a lot of money, you should be getting what you ordered, right? And because it was a custom order, no refunds, no exchanges. It's like, oh! So I am still in search of somebody who can do what I want for a gold metal pickguard. And there is one company I did find. I'm just kind of deciding if I'm going to leave it as a flat top or if I'm going to get it embossed with the guitar's name. I kind of name my guitars, although the Sophie for the Telly, that name has actually got to come off and get changed because that was for an acoustic guitar. But the rest of these guitars are well named. Sarah is actually my Gibson Les Paul. Sonia is the Epiphone Les Paul Custom Pro. And I'm sticking with Sally for the Epiphone. But I'm thinking about going Sandy as far as the Telly goes. Anyways, back to the Epiphone. It does have coil tapping or coil splitting pickups, the same as the Gib. What it does have that the Gib doesn't have is phase reversal for the neck pickup. Now that feature, by the way, because so many YouTube videos were so wrong about this, middle position and neck, you can reverse the phase on this pickup, okay? Bridge you cannot, which is true. It's never been able to do it on the bridge. I don't know why Epiphone didn't do the bridge too, because that would have made such a really cool tone. So anyways, they didn't do it. Oh well. Very beautiful guitar though. Plays great, sounds great, feels great. Heavy as heck, same as my Gibby. Both very, very heavy guitars. So you need a strong back to own a Gibson, in some cases an Epiphone too. The Epiphone Les Paul Special 2, very lightweight guy. Now this has different pickups as well. I can't remember what pickups are in this one or off the top of my head that one. Just look up any of these models. Okay, so 2018 Les Paul Custom Pro by Epiphone, 2018 Les Paul Studio with the Smokehouse Burst, and of course 2019 Classic Vibe Telly. I don't remember the year on this one, but they still currently make it, and they have not changed the pickups over the years that they've been making this model. But this is the left-handed version. You can get the exact same thing right-handed, so it's going to same wood, same pickup, all that. These pickups are very nice. I really like them. The action's pretty low on this thing. I did change the tuners on this because the stock tuners were garbage. So if you do buy this guitar new, you're going to pay $259 to $269 Canadian for it. But the tuners have to go. They will not stay in tune properly. They are horrifying. They're worse than Wilkinson's. So that's the only downside to this guitar. Otherwise, metal knobs, metal poker chip in chrome. I'm leaving the chrome hardware on this. Even though I have a gold fetish, my Telecaster is staying the way it is, as far as I know. And this one's going to stay the way it is with the chrome. Although I still want to put a set of Grover tuners on this thing that are going to also have the keystone or tulip style knobs in the end. But I did have to bore out the holes in the headstock. I have Lutherie tools, so I'm able to do that properly. You can get the reamer kits. Actually, I bought my reamer kits out of China. I got the tapered reamer and then the straight shanked reamers. But you're going to need the kit because you're going to have to slowly build that hole up in size, starting out with the tapered, and then you're going to have to get it so you can go to the 9mm, bore it to 9, then a little bit more widening with the taper, just not very much, and then go to the 10, and then ream all 6 holes out to 10mm, and then you can use any modern tuners you want on this guitar or any guitar that you have to convert. Even my Epiphone SG Pro 400, I had to ream the holes to get Grover tuners into it. And they work beautiful. Can't beat Grovers. But even these Chinese tuners that I threw in here, these cost me, I don't know, not very much. But they work actually quite well. It's just that I want Grovers, you know. I mean, I don't have a lot tied up in the guitar, and I don't mind spending a little bit into it. I paid $80 for this thing on Marketplace. And no coil tapping or splitting, just a volume and a tone control and a 3-way switch. And the pickups in this thing are freaking phenomenal. They're really, really good pickups. You know, so anyways, that's the guitars. Like I said, I don't play country twangy stuff, and but for the music types that I do play, all 3 guitars are unique in their sound of their pickups. So, you know, you can't dial in one guitar, plug in the next, and have it sound exactly the same. Although 2 of these guitars sound almost identical, and I'm not telling you which 2. Check out my versus video when I did all 3 of these, one against the other, and you'll be able to find out the answer there, which 2 of these guitars, and surprisingly the cost difference between them, and yet they sound so much alike. It's just crazy. But that's my collection nonetheless. Will I be adding any more electric guitars? I don't know. I saw a white SG that kind of turned my crank. It's a new one for 2020 from Epiphone. I thought it had gold on it at first, and I've been looking more and more into it and discovered that it's actually chrome hardware. And it's like, if I buy it, I'm going to finally get the white guitar I want in my collection. Because I don't care what guitar it is, as long as it's white. Okay? And I wouldn't mind an SG again. And the pickups are totally different from what I have in the other 3 Les Pauls. But the chrome thing is kind of irking me, because the chrome doesn't look good on the white for me. I would have to go to gold. And I've been down that road once, and I'm not sure if I want to invest that kind of money again. At least not the expensive high-end stuff that I did to the Gibby. However, I can get cheaper aftermarket gold stuff, but it's kind of like, well, it's $630 guitar. I'm not worried about, you know, values, okay, as far as, oh, is it going to gain or lose or whatever. I don't care about that crap on any guitar. But it's just a matter of, what do I really want to spend? But I want to investigate that guitar further, because I've also had a real burning itch for a white Falcon by Gretsch. It's a full hollow body. I've had a real itch for it, especially since playing on one. You know, it's like, it's the expense of the guitar. Mind you, it's all white, and it comes with all gold hardware from the factory, so I got nothing to do other than put a brand new set of strings on when I get it, and play the snot out of that thing. But I'm still kind of, I'm on the fence, because it's a lot of money, and so it won't be anytime soon, but we'll see. I don't know. I'll definitely be adding another acoustic to my collection, but only one more. After all these years of collecting and buy, sell, trade, all the stuff I have, oh my gosh, when I think about it, at least I'm finally happy with my present collection. And for what I play, these things get the job done, no problem. Okay? I've even narrowed down, for the time being, at least a solid state amp that I love playing all these guitars with. And of course my pedal board that I have, which is not attached to my amp, it's actually into my sound system, it does what I need to do with all these guitars really well. So I'm kind of like, well, it's only taken me most of my life to get to this point. But, you know, you gotta be picky. That's the thing. If you're a guitar player and you have a sound or a tone you're after for your own style, that's important to have what you need for that. And of course, if you're playing other people's music, you also need to be able to do as best as you can to replicate their stuff if that's what you're after. So you have to have gear that's going to do that for you. It's nice to have, you know, hoard loads of guitars and amps and pedals and all this other stuff, but it means absolutely nothing in the end other than bragging rights. If you either can't use the stuff or don't really use the stuff, there is no point to having it all. Which is also the breaking point I got to as well, because as you guys know, I've had so much stuff through here, even in the last 4 years. It's mental. Never mind the last, 37 years I've been playing. I've gone through way too much. But it was a fun road along the way, I'll say that. And a lot of losses financially, but in the end, worth it. So anyways, stay tuned for other videos. I actually want to do a video talking about Gibsons and Epiphones, differences, that sort of thing. I want to get into the headstock breaking issue stuff that is still going on and how people slam Gibsons and they shouldn't be. And there's reasons behind that. But in the meantime, thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll be sure to catch you on the next one. See you later.